Hello. Ooh. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Abigail Irosaru. I am an Olympic long jumper, and today I actually just want to answer two questions that I have recently received around my Achilles tendon rupture and that whole recovery journey since I ruptured my Achilles tendon in 2016, just for a little bit of background, because I know it's been a while since I've been on here. Since I ruptured my Achilles in 2016, I retired from the sport for 2 years because I was so over it. I just thought, this is my third surgery. I'd had different surgeries in different areas, and I was just like, I'm so over this. And I then returned to track and field, became an Olympian, jumped a massive personal best, made World, Olympic, Commonwealth, European Games, European Championship finals, and have just really enjoyed the outcomes certainly, but the process as well hasn't been too bad. And I basically documented my recovery, my full rehab journey. I don't know I was blogging at the time, and I found it helpful just to be able to reflect on my progress, but also to be able to share that with others. And I'm so thankful that I have, because it's really been a great way to engage with my audience on this level. And I just want to share an update video based on these two questions. Because the thing is, it's not like the content isn't there, but it probably will make it easier for me to share things based on these questions. So let's just dive into the first question. The first question was asked on the 12th of November, and this person was in week 8 of their recovery at the time. So I do apologize that it's only now that I've got back to answering you. But basically, the question: sorry to bother you, but I came upon a YouTube video about an Achilles injury you had, I guess, a few years back. Quick question for you about that. How long until you felt confident in going and being explosive again? Sorry, just curious, because I'm 8 weeks post-op and trying to wrap my head around going back to my job and being able to run up and down the mountain. So my assumption is that your job is not a desk job and that running up and down the mountain is part of what you do. Maybe you're a tour guide. I don't know the full picture, but I do know that you want to be explosive. I'm an explosive athlete, having to run and jump really far into a sandpit. There's a lot of explosion that's coming off that one leg. And the annoying thing, or the good thing, I guess, for you, is that my takeoff leg was the leg that I ruptured. That was my ruptured leg. So I thought there's like 3 main things that I think you need to check the box to be able to get that explosiveness back, to be able to be running and feeling that you can jump or whatever you need to do. And the 3 main things, it's strength, length, and functionality. So first of all, when it comes to strengthening that Achilles tendon at 8 weeks, or you're probably now 12 weeks post-op, I have on my website, I will include the link on here or a picture or whatever, the stages that you can progress through from still being in your boot, your air cast, to then progress into running and jumping. So I have all of those stages documented on my website, including all of the physiotherapy program that I was given from my awesome physio, Chris Brammer, at the time. And he is an expert in foot and ankle injuries. He currently works, I think, for British Athletics on the endurance team, and also at the Manchester Institute of Health and Performance. So he's a pro at what he does. And the first thing I needed to highlight was the strength exercises you need to strengthen in the gym. So that means going hard on the isometric. Those are like isometric holds. There's also a key thing about tendons. You need to be able to hit them regularly. So they need to get work in regularly. That means a couple of times a day. So when I was able to, and again, all of this detail will be on the website, and I'll also include the links here. When I was able to, I was doing exercises on the stairs in my home or in the office. You can do it pretty much anywhere. as long as you have a little bit of a ledge. And I think I would have like 2 or 3 sets of 10 where I was just going up on my toes and holding that position, or going up and down, just really a controlled setting. And at first it would be double leg, and then we progress to going double leg up and one leg down, just really slowly, like an eccentric lower. You call it an eccentric lower. So let me just use my hands as an example. You go up for 2, and then you take away the good foot and you slowly lower and control 3 or 4 seconds down, and you go up for 2 again. So that allows you to build that strength, because you can't go straight from doing double leg raises to single leg. You're just going to feel weak. You're not going to be able to do that. And I think that was a key metric, being able to get 10 single leg calf raises. That was a massive breakthrough in terms of strength. Specifically, I am going to just drop across to my website where it says in stage 1, weeks 6 to 12 approximately. And the specifications for this is, so it's not necessarily, you might not be here at week 6 to 12. You might be in week 15 and still need to look at this stage. That's why I've called it stages. I share a post on what I was doing at week 8 post-op, the tendon strengthening exercises, the daily physical conditioning that you can do, and the general conditioning in terms of getting that oxygen through your body, getting that blood flow moving, really, because blood flow is key to healing the injured tendon. It doesn't get a lot of oxygen, and so it doesn't get a lot of blood flow through to tendons. And so if you can just do even walking or general exercise, of course you can't walk when you're on crutches, but if you're doing press ups and you're just getting a circuit in, then the blood is going to be flowing and oxygen is going to be flowing to help that healing. So, and I also have YouTube videos around the Achilles tendon and calf strengthening. So I will include all of these. And specifically at week 8, week 7 post-surgery, I was doing 3 sets of 10 body weight, double leg calf raises against a wall 3 times per day. Week 6, I was doing 5 sets of 45-second, 30%, so like 30% hold, not going 100% like gunning it, because we don't want to rupture our tendon again or cause it to kind of separate, like some of the tendon fibers to separate, because that would just set us back and it'd be very frustrating. So 30% strength resistance holds 3 times per day, push against a towel or band held on your foot. The premise behind this activity is to fire up the calf muscles again and to get blood flowing through the Achilles tendon to promote healing and stimulate muscle growth. I'm not going to go through all of this, but you can find it on my website. And I also have accompanying videos to that on that website page that will just redirect you to the relevant YouTube video. That's the strength aspect. The length aspect is also contained within that week 8 page, that stage, where it takes you through some of the stretches that I did, even when I was at week 6, still in the boot. So I'd take my foot out of the boot and go through those stretching exercises. And again, they're not at 100%. We don't want to re-rupture. We don't want any of the fibers to tear, but it's just about re-engaging, refiring, trying to lengthen in a cautious way. And in terms of functionality, that's the third thing. I really think it's important, because you want to be able to walk again, you want to be able to run again, you want to be able to jump, or just do life. And high performance for me was about being able to do all of those things at a high level. So when it came to functionality, you may want to just start on a treadmill, walking slowly and increasing that pace to 5% increment, 10%, 12%, 15%, 20%. And doing that in small increments, and really just being mindful about how your body is feeling, just having that awareness. So for me, I also have a warm-up series. So I do a series of drills and pre-warm-ups that I would do even before I started going into the walking drills, because I really was very tentative and cautious about not re-rupturing and just about building upon the foundations and the layers that I'd established. So again, you can find those on YouTube, and I will include the link somewhere here. And I got these warm-up series from Altus, and they're tried and tested. They were designed by Dan Heff, and he designed those based off his predecessors who were his mentors. So passing down wisdom and greatness. So trust me when I say you'll want to check that out. I have put a disclaimer, of course. All of these exercises, this advice that I'm sharing with you, this is from my own personal experience. I was directed to, I had this program based on me checking in with my physio on a regular basis. I don't know whether the intervals were 1 or 2 weeks, but it was definitely at least every 2 weeks, checking in, seeing the progress, working on things, and then being able to move forward. So I would advise that if you can, please make sure that you have a really good physio on your side so they can help you progress things. And not just that, I think a key thing to me getting my flexibility back, which is a massive step in me being able to go from walking to running, was this tool here, which is called a gua sha, and it is a fascial release tool. Looks very aggressive, doesn't it? But it works so effectively. The fact is, I would go into the physio room, and my knee to wall would be maybe 2 centimeters or 3 centimeters. And by the time I would leave there, we would have added an extra 4 centimeters to that knee to wall. So it was going from 3 to 7 or sometimes 8. And that was as a result of using this tool, the physio using this tool. So of course I ended up buying it for myself and using this on myself. So you basically just get a thick cream, thick massage butter. You use this and you just scrape it. And it's just releasing the fascia. So I don't know whether you can see that, but you're just scraping like that, releasing the fascia. It will feel a bit funny maybe, but you're releasing you're moving the scar tissue, because that's what you've got there, just a lot of scar tissue around the tendon that's kind of having a chokehold on it, and it's not able to move freely, the muscle and everything around it. Again, clearly I'm not sure if I've said this, but clearly I'm not a physio. I'm not a trained medic. I'm just going through my experience and just sharing that. So hopefully this is helpful. When I talk about knee to wall, I have 2 posts. So I've got one post where I'm like, this is my knee to wall. Well, soon the day that I come out of my boot.
Like this. And this one, okay, so this can go all the way here. And this one is literally, this is all the extension that it wants to get right now. The knee to wall should be about 10 centimeters. Mine is, I don't know, from the knee to the wall, you should be able to touch without taking your heel off the ground. Whereas this one, even at 0 centimeters, my knee isn't even close to the wall.
And it's literally negative. And yet my physio was really happy about that. It was less than neutral, and he was happy just because I had already been doing some lengthening and strengthening exercises from week 6. So when I did actually come out of the boot, he was just like, this is really good. And yet within 3 weeks, so 3 weeks after that, from 8 weeks to 11 weeks post-op, because of the strengthening and lengthening exercises that I was doing concurrently, alongside, of course, this fascial release, I ended up going from a negative knee to wall to adding 10 centimeters. So it was actually at 0, which is kind of like that baseline. And then from 0, I was able to progress to 8 centimeters knee to wall, which is generally where I'm at right now, comparative to the other leg. The other leg can get maybe 10 or 11 centimeters knee to wall, but I am as close to where I'm going to get to and I'm able to run and jump at this level. So I would advise that the reason why it's so important is because if you don't have the length in that tendon, or it's not necessarily the tendon has the length, but in that range, then you're going to find it really hard to run or even walk properly. That's why you'll have a limp, because it's just really, really stiff, and you really need to get past that point so that you can feel free to move. So I think that is key. And there was a second question. Hopefully that's answered it. Strength, length, and functionality. Those are the 3 hitters, 3 big hitters. You can find all of that information on the website and also on YouTube, and I will include the links. I'll include the main page, and essentially I think if you look at the main page, it will advise, okay, this is stage 1, this is stage 2, this is stage 3. And you'll just basically look at that and say, this is where I'm at. This is what I need to look at. This is maybe what I need to have a conversation with my physio with, if maybe they're not super aware of how to progress your Achilles tendon injuries further. And so I'm going to quickly address this second question because I know I've gone way over the time that I wanted to allot for this. Hi, Abigail. Hello. I stumbled across your YouTube channel recently when I searched for Achilles rupture recovery. Unfortunately, I ruptured mine during competition a month ago. So this message came at the start of December 2022. I am a pro tennis player. And I recently got out of the cast and into the boot. I am a pro tennis player and it's so important for me to get back to the level I was at and even better. Well, good news. I also achieved not just where I was at, but I exceeded that. So you can too. And do you know what? I interviewed my friend and teammate, Cindy Sember, recently on my podcast, Define Your Success, and she shared her journey, and she is really vocal about her Achilles tendon rupture journey, her recovery, and the fact that she is now a British record holder in the hurdles. So she has gone again and not just gone back to the level she was at, but even better, she smashed it to become a British record holder and a Commonwealth medalist. So there are numerous examples. Before, this used to be something that you can't really come back well from, and now we're just showing that it's possible. I was very impressed with how quick you got back to your feet and started working out. It really gave me hope for my recovery. Thank you. I have been told by the doctors and physio to keep my foot still in the boot for the next 5 weeks, and I haven't gotten any exercises to do. Would you say it's better to start mobility earlier? And was there anything in particular that you felt was key in your recovery and getting back to competition? Do you know what? This is great because obviously I've just basically covered the answer to that, mobility. Of course, we don't want to rush to stretch things, but I can tell you, and I'm so glad that I documented this, but I can tell you from week 6, I was in a boot. I am past this point now, but I was in a boot, so I still wasn't able to weight bear on this. But maybe I was actually walking in the boot. I can't remember, but I know that at week 6, I was still in a boot. And yeah, I was getting my foot out of a boot to go through these resistance holds and some of these kind of stretching exercises. Let me just see, was there any stretching? So I know at week 6, I can see that I've done strength resistant holds, 5 sets of 45 seconds, 30% strength resistant holds, 3 sets of 10 body weight, double leg calf raises against a wall. So that was at week 7. And at week 8, where I was just on my week 1 of freedom, 3 sets of 15 bodyweight double leg calf raises, full range, and 6 sets of 5-second single leg assisted isometric holds times 3. And I had also been doing a ton of stretching like all the time. And even for the 2 weeks that I was allowed to walk about weight bearing with my air boot, I did the non-weight bearing stretches below, albeit with less intensity. So I can tell you that even when I was in my boot, and I wasn't allowed to weight bear, I was going through some stretches. So I would just rather than, I don't want to disregard what your physiotherapist has said, but some of them aren't at a high performance level. Mine specifically works in sports performance. You are a pro tennis player, so you have to think with that pro mindset. And if you do want to come back, especially at a high level, you need to kind of have these conversations with your physio, or maybe even check in and work with a different physio, speak with the different people around you and see if they have any recommendations for good physios. But mobility earlier is better, and not to rush to stretch, because obviously you don't want your tendon is still healing, so you don't want to do any re-rupture or bigger damage. But you do need to go small progress on a regular basis. And that was what I was doing. And it paid dividends, because even in this, I say my flexibility on day 1 out of the boot was less than 0 centimeters. It was like, I thought, this is rubbish. But my physio was really impressed. So clearly those exercises will get you ahead of the game. And I will include the link right now to that specific page. And then I will include the link here or a picture video of the exercises that I did. But again, it's all listed on my website. I really hope that that helps. And again, like I said, this fascia release tool is so good. You can use that on yourself just to smooth out the scar tissue, to get that length that you need and that mobility. And at the end of your message, you say, I wish you all the best and very inspired following your journey. Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you so much. And I really hope this video has helped you. If you have any further questions, you know where to find me. You slid into my DMs on Instagram. I'm rubbish at kind of checking them out, but I will when I get around to them. My social media on Instagram is abscissdabest and on Twitter is @erosaru. So you can find me there. And I will look forward to posting a new video sooner rather than later. I know it takes me a couple of years to get to these things, but I'll try to be more consistent. So lovely to speak with you and share some of my experience and wisdom. Hopefully it's helped. Please let me know in the comments if you have any more questions. Peace.